I know it's a little bit of a crazy angle. I'm doing this off of my phone, but I'm still around, and thank you for looking at Bible Knowledge Online. And what I wanted to quickly, I've talked about this briefly in other videos, but I think it's a very simple but powerful and important thing. And that is that many people do not see how, when you see in Revelation 5, Jesus there as a lamb that has been slain, that is something that happened right after the resurrection, after Jesus saw Mary at the tomb. And listen to what, as simple as this is, he sees Mary at the tomb, he says, "Touch me not, I've not yet ascended to the Father." Obviously, later he comes back to the disciples and he allows them to touch him. He has already been to the Father. Now, the significance of this is when you look at Revelation, actually chapter 4, when the door is opened and then you see the throne of God, but moving into Revelation 5, where you see the lamb that has been slain, when he takes that book or scroll right out of God's hand, everything changes. And they sing a new song, and this is also compared to the Song of Moses. And they say, "Worthy is the Lamb to receive all power, honor, and glory, for thou wast slain." And he receives that. And notice in Matthew 28:18, when he has come back to the disciples, that Jesus makes this statement that all power is given unto me in heaven and in earth. Now, he makes that statement after he has already suffered the cross and has been resurrected, has been to the Father, obviously, from even just the quote from when he was at the tomb with Mary. And he turns around and he makes that statement in Matthew 28:18. So this is significant to understand that Revelation 4, 5, and 6, where he breaks the seals and so forth, up to a certain point, even when you get to the New Jerusalem, which is after Pentecost. But the point is that he turns around and receives all that power, honor, and glory. And that's why you see the lamb as it had been slain. That's why, because it's post-cross. Jesus said, "Touch me not. He's not yet ascended to the Father." He goes to the Father. He takes that scroll out of God's right hand. He receives all power, honor, and glory. And he comes back to earth at some later point. You could talk about when that happens in the course of Revelation. How far does this go? Does the whole of Revelation happen? Which I do not believe. I believe that the New Jerusalem is after Pentecost. So the point is you see that this is all transpiring right after the cross, and is something that is happening between that interim of Jesus's resurrection and when he returns to the disciples. And, to debate, again, how much of Revelation happens during this interim is for another video and another time. But nevertheless, it's important to see that this happened right after the cross. You want to know what happened after Jesus? I'll tell you what happened when he died. He was dead. And when the Bible speaks of him being in hell, that's a reference to the grave, Hades, and it is interpreted that way in other places, but it's a reference to the grave. But for all intents and purposes, Jesus was dead, and then he was resurrected, of course, and then he saw Mary, and then he ascended to the Father, and he took the scroll out of God's right hand, and then returns to the earth, had received all power, honor, and glory, also commissioned to be baptized in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. So you can see that Jesus is very significant ceremony that happened there right after the resurrection. So if you have any questions, let me know. I know this is certainly not in line with anything premillennialism or futurist doctrine or anything of that nature, but certainly for those that follow my channel and what I specifically believe, you'll see how this fits right into that spiritual understanding of Revelation, and the revelation of Jesus Christ, the revealing of everything that happened as a result of him coming and living and dying on the cross and being resurrected. This is all about Jesus. Okay, God bless. Have a great evening.